So good afternoon. Hi, welcome. My name is Jason Lipfeld. These are the 16th annual winter workshops sponsored by the Hostos Student Leadership Academy at Hostos Community College. And we had the pleasure of having a vibrant, lively, diverse group of students from all over the CUNY campuses this morning, and it looks like we have the same this afternoon. And for that, I will present you with a CUNY graduate, an intellectual leader amongst the students in his time at the university, and a gentleman who's continued on his path to explore educational opportunities and to develop his professional growth. So before I introduce you to Christopher, I'm just going to remind people that we're recording these sessions for our own records. You don't have to come on camera if you don't want to. We'd love to see your faces if you would like to. We would like you to engage as much as possible, obviously, for the benefit of the workshop. But that being said, let me introduce you to Christopher A. Browne. And Christopher, I will leave it to you to take us on this journey. Welcome.
Thank you, Jason. Such a breath of fresh air. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for continuing the work. Continuing the work. It's been a while, but I'm back, and I thank you for the invitation. So much appreciated. I just want to make sure that you know that you are appreciated. Now, just before we even jump in, so my name is Christopher Browne. I'll let you know more about me afterwards. But just by, I was going to say, virtual wave of hands, or let's connect via the chat. Where are you from? What school do you represent? Let's see that. Let's see that. What school do you represent? Hello, Keisha. Hostos, representing Kimberly. I see you. See, Hostos is alive and in living colors. Oh, Jade. Yes. College of Staten Island. Okay. Raphael, Lehman. Oh, it's coming in. CUNY School of Professional Studies. Hostos and Baruch. That you. It's coming in. It is coming in. Awesome. Oh, okay. City Tech. Very nice. Very nice. So here, I just want to set aside some time to be intentional, to really let you know what we're going to be discussing. All right, so a little bit about me. I think it's important to know who you're talking to, who you're engaging with. I know perhaps some of you know me before, maybe some of you don't, but we will connect. You will have the opportunity to afterwards be able to connect with me. I am very laissez-faire when it comes to giving out my phone number, my contact. That's fine. Anything that I can do to enhance your professional and personal growth, I'm all for it. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about me. Get it out of the way. Mindset. The CAN plan. There is a technique I call the CAN plan. Our future. Our future. Knowing what we know, knowing what we are about to receive. How can we make sure that it not only benefits yourself, but even the wider audience? All right, so very important. Very important. Okay, so let's jump right in. So, one thing I like to always like to share, and when people ask, or when people is asked, what do you know about Christopher? And I say, I play in the world of crazy. I play in the world of crazy. A lot of people throughout my life, when I come up with an idea or a plan, Christopher, you're crazy. Who has that happened to? Who whoever got that reply, got that, got the response. You're crazy. What? That would never work. That's too big. You think too large. Who has ever received that comment about themselves? You should like, yeah, me. I know, Jason. Definitely you. I know that. I know that. Oh, he's just saying usually. Very nice. wealth, wealth, because that is going to be one of the staples when you are continuing your growth, when you're pivoting in your growth. And that's what people, and I own it. I own it. I play in the world of crazy. I even say sometimes I major in the impossible. I major in the impossible. All right, so let's continue on here. So, a little bit about me. I like to share this. So, yes, I am a product of CUNY, a two-time product of CUNY. And during my stay at CUNY, man, woo, I did a lot, and Jason can attest to it. I won about 15 different honors and awards. I held about 23 executive board roles as a student, represented the US and CUNY in Switzerland, and I started a fund. I started an international education fund. After coming back from Switzerland, it was a mind opener. So I said to myself, I am going to give back by starting a fund. And to this day, at Brooklyn College, 10 students every semester has the opportunity to study abroad with, in a large part, with the fund that has been started. So at CUNY, I don't think, I mean, maybe Jason could attest, I think that might be a record. Jason, do you know anyone that has, you know, done that much in CUNY? And my grades were good. I was a pretty good student, 3.8, 3.9, and doing a lot of this. So I got my bachelor's and my master's degree at CUNY. And then I know I jumped forward, um, uh, but maybe about 2, 3 years. So I worked at CUNY as well as a capital raiser for the Brooklyn College Foundation. That's not there because uh, of the money that I raised and the initiatives that that I push forward. I joined the campaign for student success, but a few years afterwards, I became the economic development director for the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce. Leading initiatives, Caribbean diaspora initiatives in New York, and led by Dr. Roy Hastick, the late Dr. Roy Hastick. He's now deceased because of COVID. But he told me, Christopher, hey, why don't you start your own consulting firm? I'm like, what? That's a stretch. That's a move. Yeah, you're pretty good at what you do here at the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce. So I did that. I started my own consulting firm, the Buckler Group, and that expanded the reach. Wow, connecting with the diaspora nationally, doing national projects all over the country, in schools and in corporate life as well, and across the country and internationally as well. Different nations helping different governments in regards to their different initiatives in the economic development sphere. Then I went to Cornell University, studied um, commercial real estate, finance, investments, development. Again, just tying back the finance, high finance, economics there. And again, I did my thing. 22 plus credits as graduate students. That's not easy. That's not easy at all. Became the president of the Philippine Society for Minorities in Real Estate, and there again making sure that I broaden the range. After my leadership, it's now the largest HBC real estate case study competition of its kind in the nation and by virtue of the world. There and multiple executive boards role and designation. And what's next? Well, that's going to be announced. There in 2024, you're going to be hearing a lot of international initiatives. I'm not going to tell you anything yet. I'm not. I'm going to hold it back. You're going to see it throughout the year 2024. And as well, I'll invite you in the journey with me. Thank you, Fatou. All right. So just a little bit about me. So here's what. Let's be intentional here. So by way of the chat, I want to find out, what do you expect here? What do you want to get from this interaction, this conversation, I call it. It's not a presentation, it's a conversation. What do you expect to get? Now, as leaders, anywhere we go, anything we do, we have to be intentional. So I'm being intentional in being intentional. All right. So let's see. What do you expect
No sé,
to
yo no
receive?
sé, yo no sé si de mentira.
What do you expect to receive? Let's see that. We must always. Uh, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay. Okay, I have to make sure. So we must always general guidance and tips on how to help cultivate a goal. Wonderful, Kimberly. Wonderful. Who else? What do you expect to achieve? And let this mindset also go with you anywhere you go. If it's a class that you're taking at school, if it's a business opportunity, if it's a club activity, you must always try to be intentional. So here we are wanting to know more about how to bring your vision to life. We have to be intentional. I expect to learn a new perspective and maybe a few keys to how to tailor my own goals in leadership. Wonderful. How to not just say I have a vision, but to put it in action. Wonderful, Julian. Wonderful. Wonderful. See, we're being intentional. And when you're intentional, more than likely you achieve that goal. Don't just go to class just to receive information. When you go to class, expect to learn more. When you go to to pursue a particular venture, make sure that you're intentional about the results that you want to achieve. It's very important to be intentional. I want to learn how to determine about my goals. Angela, it's wonderful, wonderful. So my expectation here is to enhance your perception of how you view yourself. One, and for you to take ownership of your life, of your life. I believe in that sternly, that everyone has that innate uh, skill set to be able to achieve whatever they want to achieve. So wonderful. Okay, so let's jump in. Mindset. It's super important. I heard, many people aren't believers about mindset. Oh, you can have a positive mindset and you achieve this and you achieve that. I'm not really looking at mindset with that lens. But your mindset is super important in being able to have that capacity to achieve your goals. And I call it the mindset of persistence. When I was at Cornell, now imagine this with me. I was a class just finished. Remember, I'm taking 22.5 credits, insane amount, and doing these leadership stuff. And you get a news that your mother has a terminal illness. Imagine that. Now I also have a wife and I also have kids. So that and that kind of exasperate uh, the situation. I heard that news and it broke me down. It broke me down. To be candid, it broke me down. But but I remembered saying to an individual when we were walking up, it was a very steep incline to a different class. I said, look, hey, I'm gonna finish this. I have burned my bridges to return to go back home without achieving what I come to achieve. I would die here. I said I would prefer to die here doing what I'm doing. No matter the sacrifice. I was hell bent on making sure that I accomplish what I came to accomplish. the mindset of persistence. So if anything came to derail me, if anything came to as a setback, for me, it's only that. It's for me to dodge, it's for me to jump over, it's for me to really surmount that obstacle. So the mindset is super important. And you need that. You need a mindset of persistence to be able to have the capacity to achieve your goal. If you don't have a mindset of persistence, how can you start something? How can you'll always doubt yourself? You'll always doubt yourself. And when obstacle arise, well, you'll give up. And okay, let's say that you're on your way. Good job. You're on your way to achieve that goal. But how can you scale the goal? How can you scale the goal? Now, again, for me, and I use myself as an example because I am an example. I live by these codes. I live by these codes. Here I am doing well. Okay. Went to Cornell, commercial real estate, finance investments. All right. Now, mind you, my major was economics and business, finance as well. But that was an entirely new terrain. I started it because I said, this would be a stepping stone to ultimately what I want to achieve, what I want to do. And I put a question mark in the last slide, so I'm not going to give that up. And then there's obstacles that came, right? Obstacles that came, obstacles that already existed. I have one wife, I have two kids. Then I heard the news with my mother, but I still persisted. Sleepless nights, lots of coffee, right? But I still persisted. And then when I was afforded this opportunity to lead an organization, the Philippine Society for Minorities in Real Estate, I said to myself, well, you know what I'm going to do? It's not only going to stay as a normal student organization, it's going to be the top student organization that houses top minority talents in the nation. And that's currently that is what the organization is. So I started, persevered, and sustained and even scaled because of the mindset the code that I engineered for myself. I am not giving up. It's a done deal. Whoever watched John Wick, I know it's a violent movie. I'm not talking about the violence, but whoever watched John Wick, this guy is persistent. My goodness.
I watched the John Wick movies.
Isn't he? You love it. Isn't he persistent? My goodness. No matter what comes, he says that she watch them all. No matter what comes, he goes straight through it. He's very persistent. Exactly. Exactly. It is an amazing movie. Exactly. And that should be your mindset towards the goals that you want to achieve. That should be so. So I want you right now to think about a goal. Think about a vision that you have of yourself or what you want to achieve. Don't tell me. No. Don't say. You can write it down. You can write it down or keep it in the front of your mind. And as we go through our conversation, I want you to use the steps that you're about to hear to really hone in to your goals so that it is actualized. All right, I want you to keep your goal, that particular goal, maybe for 2024, or maybe it's an intermediate goal, maybe 2 to 3 years or longer. Keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. Oh, should I take off my headphones? Is the sound coming through good? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I want to make sure that I'm completely audible.
So we can hear you, Chris, but some of it is going in and out in places. I'm not sure if you can fix that.
How about now? Better now.
Leaders, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, perfect. 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 So I want you to keep that goal in your mind or write it down. And as we move forward, I want you to adjust what you're about to hear with the goals that you have for yourself. And again, I'm walking the walk. I walk the walk. All right. So I have done whatever I said, and I'm presenting that I do. All right. Any questions here so far? Any questions? Any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah, okay. The importance of mindset of persistence. We have start, persevere, and sustain. But sometimes when we start, we feel like nothing is working, like everything's stuck in the same place and you just want to give up. So in this case, how we can like act, think to change our mindset?
Perfect. Well, that's not a mindset issue. That's well, we talk about that in the CAN plan. So you're saying that yes, you have you have a plan, you have a goal and objective, but you find yourself stuck. Is that what you're saying? How can you break through that barrier? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like you feel like everything is stuck in the same place, even yourself.
Ah, okay. That's a part of the CAN plan. That's a good question. We'll discuss that there. We'll get some more clarity there. Good question, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Of course. But the mindset, leaders, make sure that your mindset is geared towards what's going to come. Again, the strength and quality of your mindset will determine the quality of your goals, will determine the success of your goals, would even determine the how quickly you achieve those goals. So make sure you wear that mindset of persistence. You're okay? All right. So the CAN plan. So after you grid yourself with the mindset of perseverance, there is three realities that we have to keep in mind. Three realities. One, that we are all creators. We are all creators. Ambition, passion, that fuels your objectives. My goodness. I'm going to talk more about that. And network. Your network. Oh, your network. Very, very important. Very, very important. All right? CAN. Know that you're a creator, ambition, and your network. So, in regards to you being a creator, now understand that everything that has been made outside of nature was man-made. Was man-made. You see here a document, an old scribe document of Michelangelo. There, you see Henry Ford with drafting the first drafts of his of a vehicle. You see Thomas Edison and the light bulb. Many different reiterations. You think that Michelangelo just drew I mean the Sistine Chapel or sculpted sculpture of David in just one go overnight? No way. No way. You think Henry Ford automatically just created the vehicles? No way. You think Thomas Edison just created the light bulb just like that? No, they many reiterations came forth before it was actualized. However, understand that we are all creators. It was in our mind to perceive. And then we said, okay, let's write it down on paper. Let's flesh it out. Let's create more detail into what I'm thinking about. How can we make this goal that I have thought about in my mind be more attainable? You write it down. If you really, they all wrote it down. One, so they're able to look back at the mistakes that they've made. Two, also, not only the mistakes, but the progress they've made. And also to share the document. Because it's not, it was a team effort. Sharing their knowledge with someone else that ultimately they'll be able to leverage for them to reach that goal. We're all creators. I want everyone to understand this. In some form, fashion, we are all creators. And it is our responsibility. The responsibility is on us to create success in our lives, despite our current condition. Listen, I came to the US. My story is very interesting. Very interesting. So from the Caribbean. Well, I was born in Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklyn guy, born in Brooklyn, Kings County. But my parents are from the Caribbean. Mother is from Jamaica. Father is from Grenada. Wife is from Trinidad and Tobago. Great grand is from Haiti, from the Caribbean. And they decided to live in the Caribbean. I came over here on a holiday. I think I won one of those scholarships on the island. I came over here. And on my way back, so the date was approaching for me to return, and Hurricane Ivan happened. Now, understand, Christopher, Hurricane Ivan, what about Hurricane Ivan? It devastated 87% of everything on the island. Imagine that. You can you can stand on the island and you can see everything. Nothing was standing. Nothing was standing. And on my way back, maybe 2 or 3 days before I returned, my mother called and said, Christopher, stay over there. There's nothing to come back to in Grenada. And I was like, oh, what? Well, what do I do? What do I do? Well, there's a good school, since you're in Brooklyn. There's a good school across the road, Brooklyn College. Why don't you go to college? And mind you, all my friends, Max, most of my friends after high school, they worked. They worked. That was the norm. And here am I, stuck away from my family and have to make a way for myself. That was my start. That was my start. You can imagine the trauma. You can imagine the trauma. But I used that situation for a stepping stone, for a passion of mine. Now I went to Cornell, commercial real estate. So guess what I'm about to do? All right, I just hinted there. I just hinted there. I'm not saying anything else. But passion is important. Because now I'm able to stay up longer than everyone. My work ethic. I don't know if Jason remembered, but my work ethic is beastly. You bought land in Grenada? Okay. Close. All right. Close. Much more than that. That is as well. And not only Grenada, but the Caribbean and the diaspora. But we are all responsible for our success despite our current condition. However, it starts with a decision. It starts with a decision. If you have a bad habit, it may be very challenging to stop. But if you determine, I'm done. I'm done. A bad relationship, I'm done. Anything that you see that may cause you harm or distraught, it starts with a decision. And if you're fervent with that decision, it'll change your life. It's really, it's that simple, but it is that mind-blowing as well. It starts with a decision. I could have made that decision to just mope in my sorrows. People say that's normal. I'm away from my family. I have to now architect a life for myself. Right? Know nothing about college. Make it work. Right? Yeah. Yeah. But I use that now to fuel my journey. Went to Brooklyn College. I was going to be a neurosurgeon. I love Ben Carson, Think Big. Biochem math was my thing. Did well there. Did well. I live in the country for my family for 13 years. Okay. All right. Did well. President of the Biology Society, the vice president of the Chemistry Society. All my labs were the labs being used. I was peer tutoring compared to physiology. So in regards to natural science, I was on the track. I had a mentor. But I changed my major. I mean, what I went through, that situation called my attention. And I said to myself, I'll rather help 9 people. Well, I'd rather help in 1 hour instead of helping one person. Well, in 9 hours, instead of helping one person as a neurosurgeon, I could help a nation. I changed my major. And it's interesting because at that time, maybe it was even his first day, Miles Bissell. And when I changed my major, everyone thought I was crazy. Christopher, what are you going to change it to? Business? Business? What? From medicine? Yeah. Yeah. But I made sure I hedged my bets with reading 532 pages of the Principles of Management book. So I came in the class knowing you can give me the final on day 1 and I'll pass it, because I was so vested in my goals. The rest was history. Miles Bissell, my professor at that time, he became my mentor, and I broke every record in Brooklyn College, CUNY. That was the impetus. That was the drive of me doing stellarly in finance and business and student leadership. So it starts with a decision. It's very important. And again, I'm walking my walk. I'm telling my story. I'm walking my walk. So see, we're all creators. What we've done, we can create a life for ourselves. The ideas that we have, understand that it comes with us being innately creative. So don't shy away from that. Embrace it. We are all creators. Now, we are not the creator, but we are a creator. All right? We're not the creator, but we create. And ambition, passion, that carries the vision. So it's very important to have ambition. It's very important to even have lofty goals. But ambition, the will to stick to it, goals that are even larger than yourselves, will bring out more of yourself. Will bring out that I would say supernatural element in you. Because imagine just imagine with me here. You're away from your family, and your aim now is to give back to that region. And here you are in school, or here you are in an industry that's directly related to your goals. When others are sleeping, oh, you'll be up. You'll be up because it's connected. It's connected to your vision. It's connected to your passion. When people are slacking off, oh, you'll be up. You'll be reading and people will be sleeping because you're aligned with your goal. And it's ambition that carries the vision. So your vision doesn't walk alone. It doesn't walk alone. It needs ambition. Ambition more or less is it's twofold. First of all, it's the driver, it's the catalyst. Here we're talking about passion. Passion mixed with ambition is the catalyst. It makes you run longer, run farther. It gives you that drives you need to accomplish it in less time than the others because you're more motivated. Ambition gives you more capacity. So ambition, passion, they both carry vision. So, the question was posed by Cynthia. What if, you keep stumbling on, you have a vision, but you see roadblocks ahead. Now, perhaps two things you may want to reroute. If so, you're not giving up the vision, but you may have to go about it a different way. One, or if it's an obstacle, perhaps with passion you have to stick it out. You may even have to scale that ambition. You may be talking to the wrong person that's giving you the runaround, and you may have to talk to the head themselves. I remember again a time that I got it. So I at Brooklyn College, I got a scholarship to go to Mumbai, India. It was a national Dean's List scholarship to represent the U.S. in Mumbai, Taj Mahal Hotel. And I had to only raise $5,000. And the dean at that point said, "Sorry, Christopher, we couldn't do it. I'm sorry." Like, what? What you mean? These are the 30 pages of documents here saying, this is authentic. This is real. I mean, no one, here, Brooklyn College got it. Yes, I understand, but we can't afford it. And what's interesting is that opportunity passed. So you can imagine, I was distraught. I was sad. However, I turned on the TV one day and I saw there was a terrorist attack at the Taj Mahal Hotel. The timeline matched perfectly. At that point, I was like, oh, that could have been me. That could have been me. Everyone died. It could have been me. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? So that humbled me at that time. However, I still had that passion and ambition. I said, you know what? Yeah, Fareed, there's always a cause. But I said to myself, you know what? I was still angry. I said, I'm gonna pick the most expensive scholarship, the most expensive country in the world to go to, and I'm gonna make them pay. So I picked Switzerland. That was, to be candid, that was my reason to go to Switzerland. Super expensive. I got the scholarship. I was in Grenada with Jamaica with my mom. I got the news. I got the scholarship. but I had to raise $21,000. And I had to raise that in about like 11 days. Well, after I came back from Jamaica to Brooklyn, it was 8 days. I had to raise it in maybe about 8 to 10 days. 21K. I didn't raise $5,000 in a month. How could I raise $21,000 in what 11 days? I did it. I did it. And I went to Switzerland. And I came back and started a fund. Now that's where ambition came. And it was interesting because now I said to myself, okay, now I had to do something because I didn't raise $5,000 at that time, but now I had to raise $21,000. So now, my goodness, my mind was so it's very interesting. At that point, when this obstacle rose, again, I have the mindset that there's always a solution to every problem. There is a solution. I'm not a person that says I can't. To every problem, there's a solution. So you see how mindset already kind of gives you the perspective to achieve your goal. And with that, your mind is like a muscle. It automatically gives you options. Who should I call? Who should I connect with? Who knows who? With that mindset, your mind automatically works in your favor. Versus, I can't. Oh, it's $21,000. I didn't even raise $5,000. Then your mind shuts down and go to defeat mode. So be careful again. That's another example of mindset. It's very, very important to grid yourself with the mindset of persistence. So man, I called up everyone I had to call up. Man, I went straight to the source. So I didn't stay at the dean for that $5,000. You see that? Cynthia, I went above, spoke to the president, spoke to other people, spoke to the bid. So different avenues, and all of which can make a decision on my behalf. Ambition. And the pitch was crafted to benefit them. Standing on business. To benefit them. Me going to Switzerland will benefit you XYZ 1, 2, 3. So, and funds start rolling in. And that became a success pillar for Brooklyn College to raise monies for international education. And they raised, 21.5 million. So, again, ambition carries the vision. Ambition carries the vision. Don't be scared. Don't be alarmed. Be calm. Let your mind soak in the situation, and you will be surprised. It works for you. Every time I'm faced with an obstacle, I don't know if anyone here takes martial arts. They teach you to be calm. They teach you to be calm in the eye of the storm. It's the same thing. You're able to think through it all. Any questions here? This is a very, very important aspect here. Ambition carries the vision. Any questions here? If you look at the,
excuse me.
go ahead. Yes.
My question, you told me you're gonna answer.
Yes. I answered in part as well. I said, Cynthia, that you were going through, well, from what I understand, is that there are you have a vision, but you're finding roadblocks to the situation. And I said, perhaps you have to reroute, maybe look at your vision up a different way, reroute. I said, perhaps you may need to talk with someone, maybe in a higher authority or maybe vertically, to help you achieve your objective. You may even have to and it's funny that you may even have to think bigger to accomplish the objective of a particular institution or person that will meet your situation. Very interesting. What if surroundings doesn't match your vision and you're persistent, but others are trying to push you to move another way? Woo! It's funny. I want more information there, but I think I know what you're saying. So now imagine changing your major in your junior year from natural science to business, knowing that knowing that you're pretty good at it. Could you imagine the pushback? So my mom said, Christopher, you know what you're doing. But my grandmother nearly caught a heart attack. My father was like, Christopher, you're crazy. Others were like, you're crazy. So in regards to really your vision, you get pushback. I understand what you're talking about. But at times you have to take the risk and walk in your truth. Oh, Fatu, go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Great. So to pick back on Cynthia's question, I think if you feel like you are achieving your goals, that you are stuck, nothing is working for you, you need to measure your goals. Write down all your goals, go through them and measure. Measuring your goals help you see if you are progressing or not. So at the end of the day, you measure your goal. Okay, I do X, Y, and Z. So now I am gonna go to the next goal and do X, Y, and Z. Otherwise, if you try to measure your goal on top of your head instead of measuring down or writing down or evaluating your goals, you're gonna feel like nothing is happening. Thank you.
Fatu, good point. Good point. Because perhaps perhaps you're moving forward, but not at the pace you want to. So in writing them down and measuring them, you would see that you're indeed making progress. But maybe you're frustrated with the speed of the progress. Yes. It's always a good idea to benchmark your goals. Yes. Well said. Well said. If you look at these people here, and I will say they need to have more women, because I know we have more women doing powerful things, and that's another goal of mine that I'm not even gonna. I just hinted there. But when you look at these pictures, all of them have ambition. I see that. All of them have ambition. Martin Luther King, he gave up his life. It's funny. Barack Obama as well. Well, when I mean give up, they were prepared to to put their life on the line. And depending on the gravity of your goals, perhaps that might you may have to be willing. You may have to be willing. Now, again, for the bigger goal, so we're talking about ambition. And these men here exemplifies that. Elon Musk, 3 companies. I'm sure he has more. The Boring Company, Tesla, and SpaceX. I'm sure, well, then he has X now, once Twitter. But you realize that their ambition, and no pun intended, is out of this world. He's in Mars, trying to make it affordable for space tourism. And it's very interesting because he creates a vision and then he funnels that vision, he molds that vision such that it will interest governments, it will interest the employment rates, and those are drivers for him to accomplish his goal. I mean, if you read, and I'm just gonna hint here, if you read or research Elon, especially when it comes to Tesla, well, there are other things there, but he got many subsidies from the government because at that time what he was doing, he was creating that strategic advantage for America, and incentives from the government would capitalize his company. So he has a grand ambition to electrify or create non-driving cars. Now the Tesla business plan wasn't his. That's a whole different situation. But he made sure to have other eyes. He made sure with his perspective that he got the buy-in of people that is going to help him alongside his goal. So he shares his goal with other people. So a very interesting thing, and I wasn't even going to talk about this, but if you can make other people, if you can make your goal, your vision, other people's vision, you are leveraging your vision. It takes less time and you get more resources as a result. And it is what these people did. Barack Obama, he stood on morals, truth. He wanted a cleaner, more government based on everyone. The the fabric of the society, how society is constructed, it is emulated in government, and everyone bought that change. At that point in time, the previous government was going in a different direction, and he pushed the rhetoric of change, and everyone bought that, right? Martin Luther King, well, we know story as well. We know his story. 41 million Negroes, as they call them, all over the world. He was the voice of nonviolent change movement. And it was not only his vision, he got the buy-in of the entire race. So your ambition, sometimes, well, to make it one that would last even past your time, it can't be yours. You have to share it. You have to share it. And it's a vision, and the ambition cannot walk on its own legs. It has to be carried by ambition. Very powerful. Any questions here? Any questions? So what's interesting here, and I think I'll spend some time here, though we understand that we are creators and that what we do can affect lives, can affect change. We have a grand idea how to make something work, or we have a grand idea for ourselves. We have the ambition, we have the passion, the fire in your belly to make it happen. And we have even charted paths to make sure that we accomplish our goals. The right network is important, is vital. Mentors are vital. What, Christopher? You can't do it for yourself? Well, would it last beyond you? It may burn you out. It may burn you out. And if the goal is worthwhile, bring others along. And what I found that is super, super helpful, it minimizes the time, and it brings satisfaction to all those that are involved. You bring others along. Industry mentors. I have a lot of them. And depending on where you want to go, what industry or sector that you want to work in, you need industry mentors. People that are seasoned, that have a liking to you, or you see yourself becoming like that person in a few years' time. Your values are aligned with that person. Industry mentors. Industry mentors. Not only does it help you become successful faster, but you also get to accomplish your goals and being able to satisfy. It's funny, like you're sharing your goals. You're satisfying. It becomes much more satisfying when you bring others along. The mentors as well are learning from you. And in this world, in this age, a mentor within your industry is vital. It's vital. Now, you may not be in the industry now, but if there's an industry that you want to be in, I suggest that you go search out an industry mentor. They are waiting. They'll be happy, especially if you're a student. I can attest to it. I get a lot of emails, a lot of calls, a lot of what they call it, um informal interviews, and I'm happy to do them. I'm happy to do them. And I'm sure mentors in the industry as well will be happy to do them. It's very important. Academic mentors as well. Individuals that took years of their lives to teach, to hone their particular skill set within that particular paradigm. If you show the interest of learning more from that particular person, that's a plus. Not only in your academic life, it's always good to be able to have an academic mentor as well. I mean, study shows that your grades are enhanced. They spend more time with you, and anything that perhaps you don't understand, there you go for two. You know anything you don't understand, they break it down because they see your interest in learning. Even after you graduate, and listen, professors and chairs and the like, they have connection to the industry. They can recommend you to someone, to an employer that perhaps it's your first choice, or you may be not even thinking about this particular employer, but because of the connection and the contact that your academic mentor has, that's an easy buy-in. Academic mentor, a personal mentor. Well, that goes without saying. You know, um, when when I got the news with my mom, I had to take a few steps back. I mean, I was going to a networking session. When I got the news, I said, no, I can't go. It's funny because I was forcing myself to go, but I said, no, I can't go. It will be mad. It will be bad. Everyone will know that I am out of it. And I had to rely, or I had to ask for help. In this case, I mean, it was challenging for me, to be quite candid. My wife was there to really keep me on track, because that news was super unexpected. Now, it couldn't be someone that that you look up to, that can give you some good advice. Maybe your pastor, or maybe someone that your father, mother, grandparents, someone that you can trust, someone that you can bounce ideas off of, that will give you some good feedback. Super, super important. And the right network, it works. I remember, again, again, I have stories. So everyone thought I was crazy, obviously. Yeah, right. We get that a lot. Christopher, what? You want to make this student organization the top in the nation? Hey, well, last semester we were just passing by. I said, well, let's do more. And I reached out to my network. I reached out to JP Morgan, Chase, JP Morgan, the bank. I reached out to Blackstone, that's an investment company. I reached out to Goldman Sachs. I reached out to many Lend-Lease, many of the top organizations in the world in my industry. And they all responded. What if I didn't have the network? What if I didn't reach out? And it's funny because I was working at Lend-Lease and I pitched my vision to the very same company I worked at. And they bought it. They bought in. And that was my first $10,000. And then the rest was history. The rest was history. So, but that was with the right network. So my late mentor, Dr. Roy Hastic, always says networking works. But I'll go further to say the right network works. The right one. Because there's some, individuals obviously that don't align with your values, don't align, with, many, your personality. That's different. We're not just networking for networking's sake. We're being strategic with our connections that we make. And industry mentors, personal mentors, academic mentors, we all must have these mentors in our war chest. If we need advice, if we need, and in any different sector, whether it's professional, personal, academic, we're able to draw upon them. I call them my board of directors. If I have a problem that is a little bit outside my skill set, I know someone that it is their particular skill set, and they can advise me as such. The right network works. Any questions here? Who can attest to this? Someone that took a liking to you, knew what you want to do, because you follow up, or you show yourself interested, and they opened a door for you. Has that ever happened to you? Let me hear that in the chat. Anyone? Keisha, I have a few. Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Give me an instance. Cynthia as well. Nice. Keisha, give me an instance. What happened? You said you have a few, so that means you're versed. Tell me about them. Were they helpful? Were they able to more align you to what you want to do, professionally or otherwise?
I think she might be unmuted.
I see. Right. So let my friend, okay, line me with advocacy projects. There you go. There you go. To be a part of. There you go. Your friend saw your interest into a particular advocacy project, and you got plugged in. Very good. Very good. Let me see here. I submitted a journal to Hostos Student Journal 2 years ago, and now school's former librarian helped me formulate. There you go. There you go. It was given an award for the library department last year. There you go. Congratulations, Kimberly. There you go. Very important to have these allies. Very important. Very important. Cynthia, what about you?
To write it or to tell it? To
Oh, you
write it?
can, well, since
Okay.
I'm hearing your voice.
Okay. It was when I was in high school.
Okay.
So I had an idea to open a small club where we can design our own stuff, jewelry, maybe clothes to teach other and invite like professional to help us. And then we can try to sell it and the money we're gonna get to give to orphan. So I tried to do because I was alone and I was a little bit lost, but I knew somebody and it was a professor and I showed him my
Ah.
project and explained to him. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna call you next time to see if you're gonna work or not. 2 days later, he told me like our school supervisor liked my project and I would like to sponsor it. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And we must continue to build those relationships. We must continue to build those relationships. Raja, my professor recruited me to join the economics club. There you go. There you go. There you go. Wonderful. And it's good to join clubs. You gain the transitional skill sets that you may need, that you would need. Very good. We have some scholars here. Any questions for me at this point? Any questions for me?
I have a question for you.
Please,
You,
Cynthia, go ahead.
you say you have a professor was your mentor, right?
Correct.
My question is just like this because you work well in your class, or just because he saw in you a potential something and he approached you, or you are the one who went to him to ask for help?
Good question. Well, I think he saw potential because remember I read 523 pages and he was asking questions. So I didn't tell that part of the story. He was asking questions to break the ice and no one answered them. I was looking around, no one answered them. So I put my hands up to make, so it's not an awkward silence. You know what I'm talking about. And that happened 3 times. And at the end of the class, he said, look, hey, there's something there. I want to mentor you. And the rest was history. So, I can say I put myself forward. Not intentionally though. I mean, I was just trying to do the class a favor. Because as a professor, silence doesn't bode well. Typically you think you're not doing a good job when everyone is quiet. We love participation. We love participation. So yeah, I put myself forward, and most of the time, that's what you need to do. Put yourself forward. My grandmother used to say, closed mouths aren't fed. So you have to put yourself forward. And that comes with the ambition. That comes with the passion. That comes with understanding that, hey, what I'm doing is not only for me, it can benefit the larger group. That comes when you equip yourself with that, with the mindset of persistence. Listen, this is, and a lot of us do that well, being from a more minority background. Hey, sometimes we have to be go-getters. Sometimes we got to be go-getters. So we have that advantage. We have that advantage being go-getters. All right, Cynthia, thank you, Mr. Limfield. I was hopefully be presenting, of course. You're welcome. Oh, I see some things here. My goodness. Kimberly, you're doing your thing. Congratulations. Please ask away. What other questions you have for me before I move on? I want to make sure that since I'm here, I am super available. What questions do you have? What other questions do you have for me? Now, Jason, we go back for a long time. We go back for a very, very long time. So he knew me when I was budding, you know, and I have made a mission of mine that when he calls, I answer as much as possible. You know, I may be a little a little busier now, but I want to make sure as much as possible that once he said, Christopher, hey, we need you, I can say, yes, sir. You know, so I am here. So any questions that you got from me, please, please feel free to ask them. Please feel free. I did quite a lot when I was, you know, at in college, in my professional life. So I think I have some some things to share. Let me see here. Do you major in real estate because you wanted to give back to your home country when it comes to building infrastructure of the country? Yes, I majored in commercial real estate, finance and investments. Um, yes, that's the short answer here. But so I'm just gonna give you a little bit more. I'm going to be starting a real estate private equity firm that is going to close the gap between the Caribbean diaspora and those in the Caribbean. All right. So you'll be seeing much, much more about that. Much, much more about. I'm not gonna give out any other any other info on that, but it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. All right. So not one building or two buildings, but a lot of different assets. A lot of different assets. Affordable housing on one end, and hotels and other assets on a different end. So yeah, it's going to be huge, massive. Hundreds of millions of dollars, actually. Go ahead for two.
How do we involve in your project?
My goodness. My goodness. Well, let me go here. Next, our future. One of the reasons that Christopher is a great researcher. That's right, I sat in the same seat. In the same seat. Well, I want you all to think about the future. And I'm putting my energy into sharing because the future. I'm getting to your question for two. We have to take our future in our own hands. So now I'm talking about one, sustainability. We hear about climate change, right? We hear about different injustices that's happening throughout the world, systematically as well. We hear many different things, and throughout our lifetime, there are many different crashes. You hear about the financial crisis. We hear about the Great Recession. We hear about the many different stock market crashes, small, some larger than others, and that led to a lot of layoffs, people losing their homes, climate change, weather patterns that's becoming even much more disastrous. So we, in this generation, have to be intentional. That word again, intentional, to really be able to create a story about the future of us. Create a story about the future of us, the perception of how we view, how we're viewed. I am on a mission to change that. Now, How can you be involved? Follow me on LinkedIn and other things, and let's talk. We'll talk about that. But there'll be many, many different opportunities where you can be involved. Many different opportunities because we're creating a movement. We're creating, an awareness that, hey, we have to take um we are literally um the ones that have to save our world. I went to Barbados. My company did an advanced convoy to Barbados, exploring opportunities and whatnot there. And I was speaking to a very, very wealthy person there, and one of the wealthiest also in the Caribbean. And he was in tears when he said, "Hey, we're killing ourselves regarding climate change, and the earth, the world is on a spiral downwards, and he is doing everything that he can to at least slow it down, slow it down." So in regards to, so I am commercial real estate for me. Again, it's not to be on my soapbox, but it's a very important aspect. It dictates your wealth. Typically, those that are wealthy owns assets, right? Wealth. Your health. If you're not in a part, if where you are isn't in the best situation, it can affect your health. It can affect your mindset. You know, you know, it affects how you live, how you interact, the school that you go to. So it is interlocked with your lifestyle and the lifestyle of those that come after you. So with commercial real estate, thematically, it's one of the most important um paradigm, and it holds most of the country's GDP. I mean, anything aligned to real estate, the jobs, the buildings, their assets, what goes on operational in real estate, the country prospers because of it. So it's very, very important. It's very important. And I'm on a mission to make sure that the future of us, at least a story of the future of us, is such that we have hope. How about that? So you'll be hearing much, much more about that coming soon. And I want to also implore you as well, when you're building, when you're creating as creators, when you're going on your amazing paths, to also think about issues larger than yourself, larger than yourself, to engage in and to engage with, because it's those activities that's going to not only get you out of your comfort zone, but bring you more joy, more edification. So we're going to be talking much more about that. I'm on that path currently, and I implore you as well, when you're thinking about things to do, when you're thinking about paths to walk in, follow your passion. That's important. That's your superpower. It's going to make you stay up longer than others. It's going to make you study harder than others. It's going to make you more energetic when others say, I can't do this, more energetic than others. Follow that path. Follow your passion. Any other questions? How are we doing with time? I hope. Woo, my goodness. 3:20. How are we? Any questions? I think I'll leave this section here for question and answers here. Any questions? Unless let's get them. Let's get them. You have 40 minutes with me. Please. Well, at least here, but you have my contact. We can get in, we can, we can engage offline, but I want to make sure that I spend this time as much as possible serving you. My phone's dying. I'm going to charge it. No problem. No problem for it.
Found
Any
you
que-
LinkedIn.
You're ready. You're ready. You're that quick? We're already connected
Yes.
on LinkedIn? Oh my goodness.
I stayed in contact with the CEO before for my second job 2 years ago.
I got it. Oh, as well. You guys are not playing games. Any questions for me, please?
I'd like to ask some question.
Sure, Cynthia. My pleasure.
Okay. My first question is, you said before you have to put yourself first, and then opportunity or people can approach you. But in this case, or you know that you want this thing, you want this opportunity, and you are scared or afraid to do the first step. So how you can convince your mindset, how you can change your mindset about it. And the second thing is, like you said, I start the how can I say, an internship real estate this few days with Project Destiny, and
Nice.
I don't know anything. I was really lost between all the participants, and I would like to put myself first. As I said, I don't know. Like I told our mentor, I told him like I don't know nothing, and I want to quit. And he told me you cannot quit. If you did the first step, like you can do the next step. And I would like to know, based on your experience, what advice or what can I do in this case?
Well, wonderful question. First of all, congratulations for putting yourself in the room. So when I mean putting yourself first, well, I didn't say putting yourself first. I said putting yourself out there. But, well, that's another concept. I won't go that route. But put yourself out there. Make sure that, you know, you're in the room. And you were in the room. You were in Project Destiny. You were in the room. First step. And of course, it starts like that. The less we know, the more unsure of ourselves we will be. You go in a room with individuals that are all real estate professional. It's your first time. They're talking about commercial real estate. Yeah, I understand. You would feel like, oh, what am I doing here? Understood. That's how it starts. That's how it starts with any subject, any experience. So that's fine. That's natural. That's okay. Now, what you gotta do is learn more about it. Dive in, read more books, connect to someone that can teach you more. Learn more about it. Learn more about it. Listen, my wife is the one that said, Christopher, so I was gonna be a doctor. I was gonna get a PhD in economics. And my wife was like, Christopher, that's cool. You can do that. But I think your personality more fits commercial real estate. And she was pushing Cornell at me, and I'm like, okay. And then I looked at it. And when I looked at it, the goals that I had for myself, the skill set that I would have attained from this degree matched. I was like, whoa, okay. Thank you. It's good to, listen to your spouse, right? You know, so I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything much, but I dove into it. I connected what I wanted to do long term to where I'm at right now. And I saw the correlation. And that allowed me to give 110%. Because now the opportunity I have right now is aligned, is connected to what I want to do long term. So, woo, my passion was all in it. I ate it up, learned, went to as much conferences as possible, you know, just because it was aligned to what I wanted to do.
Thank you.
Of course, Cynthia, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And if you want, if you need, anything regarding commercial real estate, any advice, any connections, let me know. I know a few people.
Thank you. I will contact you.
No problem. Not a problem. Kimberly. Much appreciated, Kimberly. Any questions, Kimberly? I love your energy. Congrats on the big moves you're making. Any questions for me? If he jumped off already? Okay. So make sure that you remember the CAN plan. Understand that we're all creators. We're all creators. This comes natural to all of us. We're all creators. So ideas that come to us, it's by design. Now, and Fitu said it well, structuring your creative mind, your vision, writing it down, making sure that there are specific steps and benchmarks. But here, but those things you can read in a book. But here, the CAN plan is more the macro level, understanding that, hey, you need a mindset of persistence to become successful in this life. Number one, it's not for the weak-hearted. Number two, again, understand that we are creators. Understand as well that, hey, it's the fire in the belly that moves you. It's the fire in that belly. People see the passion you have and want to help you. So don't hide that. People see the passion and want to help you. And when they come along, build that network. Build that network of people that's aligned to your mission, aligned in your values, what you believe in, what you want to achieve. Align yourself and break them down into different mentors, academic mentors, personal mentors, industry mentors. You may have even more, but making sure that there are people in your corner to get you where you need to go. That's super important. And I'm one of them now. Super important. Hannah. All right. Just added me. I'll add you back. I'll add you back. I'm adding everyone here. I'll add you back. Add you back. I'm adding it. All right. Networking is one of my skills and made a lot of connections. There you go. There you go. And it will serve you well. All right. So I'll conclude here. If there's no other questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. You also have you have something better than my LinkedIn profile. You have my phone number and my email address. You don't get better than that. This is not my work phone number. This is my cell phone number. Okay? Doesn't get better than that. Send to request. Yes, I got you. Jason, I love it. We got a lot of scholars here.
We do. So, one of the things that Chris spoke about and that I've always appreciated is the fact that I met him when he was a student. And just before we went on, just before a lot of you joined us, we talked about the fact that, I feel like it's part of my role to be a mentor to students CUNY-wide. If you show leadership, tenacity, a skill set, and you're out there, we connect. Chris and I have been connected in a number of places for a long time. and I see, you know, there's something that you're doing that I think would benefit other students, I think it's really important that I try to bring those people to work for us, and talk to other students. So like tomorrow we'll have Francesca, who is also a graduate of CUNY, and on Wednesday we have Golvis, who's a graduate of Hostos, and City College. And throughout the course of the time that we've been doing this is our 16th year of doing the winter workshops. We've been able to spread this this community of acknowledged leaders amongst the group. So even when we were doing it in person, we did invite other campuses to come to our campus. And through the virtual environment, it's been a lot easier for us to do this. But I think it's a great opportunity for growth and development and collaboration. You know, one of the things that I said is that in the chat, sometimes knowing somebody who's been in the same seat that you're in right now, whether it's at City Tech or Lehman or Hostos or whatever school you're studying at, knowing somebody who attained the number of things that Christopher has attained over the course of his life and continues to grow in terms of his development is something that should be inspirational to all of you, because it should make you realize that anything is possible that you put forward in front of yourself. And as long as you take the steps, as has been discussed here today, you can get to those places. And we've seen that growth over the course of the years. I mean, we were talking about this morning that, you know, Bert has been coming to see us for about 13 years. Chris and I have been working together, I think it's maybe 7 or 8 years, I think now. But the point is, there's opportunities, and these relationships that you develop are valuable. And while I say that, for those of you that aren't familiar with me, obviously we have some of my students here who know me, but I try to use this also as a conduit for me to serve in some purpose to you as well. So we're at the end of the course of this week, we're going to have a little bit of a relationship, not like it was when you guys when the students used to come and visit the campus, but you're always welcome to come and visit me. But I will put myself out there to say that, you know, participants in this series, I'm willing to write letters of recommendation for. As we said, we're going to send you some certificates for the participation in these workshops. And I want you to know that I will serve as a resource to you as well. It may not seem like a guy who works on a community college campus can do all that much, but I do know some people as well. And I may even know some people on your campuses, or on campuses that you might like to go to get that next degree. So please feel free to reach out to me and use me as a resource over the course of your time studying in CUNY and beyond. I think Chris even used me as a recommender here.
That's right.
Years ago. And I'm always willing to do that. I do that for my students naturally. So the Hostos students in the group know this, that once you sign on the dotted line and you're part of my program, I write recommendations for them for the rest of their lives. I think Fatou can attest to that. But we also offer this to the others in the group who join us for this series, to let you know that I'm here to support you throughout your journeys. And I hope that, you know, you got something from the workshop and then you take something from the workshop. The one thing that I've learned from the in-person workshops, especially since we've come back from the pandemic, is we're doing things in a different way now. We're looking at the world in a different way. And the one thing I say to my students on a regular basis is, something might not dawn on you in the moment. It may not register with you completely in this particular time, but down the road, you're going to reflect back on this moment with Chris. And you're going to say, wow, he was talking about this. And now I realize what he was pointing out in terms of this. The one benefit that you have here with this programming, as opposed to the ones that we did in person, is this is recorded. So it'll be forever online on YouTube. You can always go back and see the date and time when you were in the room with Chris, and what he was talking about, so that it becomes a resource over and over again. And that's also why we record it. For those who can't be here, who can benefit as well. I know I got some messages in the chat about where this will be posted. And so just so that everybody knows, at the end of the series, we'll send you a document to do sort of an assessment of the week's workshops. And in that, I will include the links to the YouTube videos so that you'll have them as a resource. So that if something strikes you down the road, you'll realize you can go back to it, like taking notes and use it as a resource as you plan for your future. So I talked a lot. I talked more than I'm supposed to talk, Chris.
No, amazing. I wish I had this opportunity when I was in the seat. Ooh.
But when Chris came and spoke at the Emerging Leaders Conference, which I'll talk about later on in the week, a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic, and he met the modern version of a group that he was a part of years ago called the CUNY Leadership Academy. And then the current version is the Malawi Leadership Academy. Some of you may know about that. And it was such a nice little moment where the two groups could get together and talk about the differences from the beginning, because he was in the second cohort of that group, to where we are now and how it's grown and developed, and some of the skills that go along with it. So just to give you a background in the CUNY Leadership Academy, similar to what we kind of do here at Hostos and some of the other campuses used to do, there's leadership programming that's developed. And so the Malawi or the old CUNY Leadership Academy would bring together students from across the campuses, meet with them on a regular basis, give them training, and then also ask them to do some advocacy on behalf of the university. Which reminds me, I have to share something with you. Because I made a promise to our good friends over at CCSD and USS that we would share that there is in February going to be a date when students are going to go to Albany to advocate on behalf of all of the campuses and all of the student body. So Leonard Blades is the chairperson of CCSD. He shared it on behalf of both of the groups, and I'm going to add this in the chat for the Student Empowerment Day. And it gives a link that you can sign up for it on. And you can also reach out to them. I believe that their information is there. Yes, and I know about NSLS, so I know that there's some leadership programming on the other campuses. That's a little different than what goes on in the university and what we do at our campus. So it's any leadership development that you can get, whatever campus you're on, whatever you're studying, is beneficial to you. And I say that knowing full well that there's a multitude of majors here at Hostos, from business to engineering to nursing to teaching. And I've seen students from our group go into leadership positions in all of those areas and others. And so taking advantage of leadership opportunities on your campus, leadership opportunities like this that are cross-campus wide, leadership opportunities where you go and talk to legislators about funding CUNY and the importance of it, right? It's all about the value of leadership and developing your own leadership skill set. And that's why we're kind of doing this. It also is a great time to do it because some of you are saying, maybe I'm not going in the right direction, or maybe I haven't taken all the steps I can take, and we try to give you as much as we can give you to get you, kicked off and snapping on all fingers or firing on all cylinders or whatever it is to make the impact. And so I also mentioned the February conference, the Emerging Leaders Conference for all of you. We'll send you some information from Anthony Sweeney about that. That's going to come up in February, and I'll send you the date and some other details at the end of the week as well, so that if you want to get more leadership training as we move into February and the beginning of the semester and cross-campus stuff, you'll be able to do that. So all of you have directors on your campus who are involved in that program as well. Have I covered everything, Chris? I feel like I've
I think you have.
I'm losing my voice because I haven't spoken as much in 4 weeks, because it's been sort of like a little break and then just like working behind a computer and trying to get the word out to everybody. So I haven't really been around people talking as much as I normally do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my vision for this is to make sure that all of you get as much information as possible. And so we will add you to a list at the end of this series as well. If you want to stay in touch, we'll keep you in touch. You can also follow me on LinkedIn too. But we'll send you the information about all the conferences that are coming up, all volunteer things that we get involved in, and some other things that come up across the campuses as well. The reason why I asked your directors or coordinators to send this information to you is because I wanted to be able to provide this information CUNY-wide. And obviously part of that is bringing back some of our CUNY alumni like Christopher, who can give you all of this knowledge and this, the wealth of knowledge and experience that he has. But I really do thank you, Chris. Whenever I call, you make yourself available. You're busy. I mean,
No, I'm not. I'm never busy.
husband, father, son, business entrepreneur, forward thinker. And I'm always fascinated by what you do. I mean, that's how we started this conversation years ago. I saw some of the things that you were posting, and I thought it was really important that reach out to you and see if we could get you involved with our students. And you've never disappointed. You always have the top-notch skill set that you share with our students. And even if it's a quiet group like today, I guarantee.
Quiet? No way.
I guarantee that I'm going to get a text message or a phone call from 5 or 6 of these people saying, you know what? Christopher said this thing. I didn't realize at the moment how impactful it was going to be. And now I'm using the skill that he told me to use, or now I've gotten the internship that I need to get, or now I chose the 3 mentors that I need, to make up my little board of directors, or whatever we call it. We have all those names for it, who are helping me to pursue the thing that I never ever thought I would pursue. And we've had history here too, right? There have been people over the years who've been to this workshop, who've gone on to do the things and have given Chris credit for his support of them and also his inspiration. So it's going to happen. I promise you. It may not happen today or tomorrow, and it may happen when you're about to go to sleep one night, but it's going to be that thing where you're going to reflect back on something that Christopher said. And the generosity of all of our presenters this week is going to be that they're going to give you their contact information. Use them as a resource. Use them as a tangential mentor, somebody who can give you little bits of gold as you go through your journey, because they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they have all of this at their disposal. Some of them have the contacts. Some of them can lead you in the right direction to making the connections that you never thought that you can make. Now, your faculty professors are great. The admissions, the people who work on staffs at different colleges can also give you great insights. But here you have people who are in your vein. You've chosen to have a leadership path. You're taking on these leadership roles on your campuses. You're crossing the lines of our crazy CUNY system, be in the leadership program in January, the second week of January. And so you realize in and of yourself, whether you're admitting it to yourself or not, that you're leaders. Take advantage of the other leaders who are coming to talk to you this week and who will enrich you and give you what it is that they have inside of them, so that you can, pursue all the things that you want to do for yourself. Nobody's on the same journey. That's the one thing that's completely true. But we all can benefit from the knowledge and experience of others who came before us. And I reflect back on Dr. Martin Luther King, who I have a picture up here on my wall. I mean, we look to the genius and the mastery of people who came before us to guide us as we go along our journey. So please do that. And that being said, I mean, if we have no more questions, if we have no more comments, I think we're going to say thank you, Chris.
Of course, of course.
Wish
Has this
you
been helpful? Has
Thank
this been helpful? I hope it has been. I hope that you take full opportunity of my contact information. All right? Please, I don't give it out like
Will
don't.
do.
I'm not that type of guy that gives up my contact information, but I make sure that I do that for us. We're family now. So please feel free
Chris,
to reach out.
good luck with all of your future endeavors. We look
Thank
forward
you.
seeing them posted probably on LinkedIn and around. And of course, wish you great luck,
Thank you.
love and support for you as you move along your journey. And then I'll also mention to everybody that's here, we've got a few more workshops this week. I mean, 3 more days. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. So I hope that you'll continue to join us. The speakers are extraordinary. The proposals that were made were great. And I think it's a great journey to be on, working towards an end goal, you know, for this year to be the best year ever for each and every one of you. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'm here to support it. So again, thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody.
Of course.
Have a great rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you soon. And everybody take care.
All righty.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Jason.
And good to see you, Fatu. Good to see you.
See you.
All right. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everyone.